It is a typical Wednesday morning for the Royal Malaysian Police Forensics Unit at their headquarters.
Assalamualaikum. Apa?
The team is trying to schedule the duty roster for the coming week.
3 orang ni.
Semua manpower tak cukup. Semua tempat. Kadang-kadang kita standby 3 orang saja. Perfect team 5 orang lah. Include jurufoto.
It is 11:35 in the morning. So far, no cases have been reported, and it looks to be a slow day for the team. But that quickly changes.
Selamat pagi, CKJ, SM Kepolisian Tekap, Malaysia Bantu. Di tempat di Banting,
11 hours ago, an illegal ferry carrying immigrants sank off the coast of Banting, 70 kilometers from Kuala Lumpur. 97 lives are at stake. Search and rescue operations are underway. The forensics unit is called to assist the search and rescue task force.
Okey, terima kasih. Selamat pagi, Tan.
Ya, pergi.
Saya terima satu panggilan telefon daripada DSP Winasan. Dia dapat satu panggilan bahawa ada satu kejadian kapal terbalik di Banting. Dan dia memerlukan kita menyediakan satu tim CSI.
Jurufoto kita akan panggil. Cik Roslan tolong panggil jurufoto lagi. And then nanti kita dah prepare, dah get ready dan kita maklum balik pada Tuan Witness.
The police forensics team is trained to deploy within 15 minutes. They make a final check of their equipment before they leave.
Okay. Ada cukup.
As the case involves search and rescue out at sea, the scuba team has also been put on standby. As the team prepares, Inspector Yam, the team leader for the day, rushes back from police duties to assist.
Kita punya equipment semua, apa peralatan yang nak digunakan kita dah sembah dalam kenderaan kita.
Yam looks through the official report of the incident. The case appears to be more serious than he thought.
So far, from the latest info, we have 55 of them were safe, and then another 42 still missing. For our role in crime scene investigation, we're going to assist them in body identification. Basically, we are waiting for the instruction now.
Kita bawa dua kenderaan atas.
The forensics team does not have to wait for long before they receive the green light to mobilize. They're heading to the coast, where they will join up with a multi-agency task force engaged in search and rescue operations. The incident soon makes headlines on national news.
Susulan sebuah tongkang membawa 97 orang karam di perairan di barat Malaysia dekat Banting menurut agensi penguatkuasaan maritim Malaysia. Sehingga sekitar pukul 10.30 pagi tadi, 61 penumpang masih hilang. Laporan awal yang kami terima adalah pasukan bomba ketika ini sedang memantau pesisir pantai.
Kita mengatur gerakkan aset-aset agensi penguatkuasaan maritim untuk melaksanakan operasi mencari dan menyelamat maritim di lokasi yang dikenal pasti.
Off the coast of Banting, where the incident occurred, the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency has already deployed its assets. Lieutenant Faisal is one of the agency's search and rescue officers. He and his team have just been deployed from the nearest base.
Okay, kita sekarang nak pergi ke arah lokasi kejadian. Lokasi kejadian kapal garam tu.
In search and rescue operations, time is of the essence. Every passing minute could be the difference between life and death. And it has already been 13 hours since the incident. With lives at stake, the team travels as fast as possible to the search area.
Berapa knot sekarang ni? 20 knot. Okey, alright.
When they arrive, they scan the waters meticulously. even after 30 minutes of searching, they find no survivors. Soon, another search boat 6 nautical miles away reports the sighting of bodies floating in the water. It is already too late for some of the victims. 13 hours ago, a ship carrying illegal immigrants sank off the coast of Banting, 70 kilometers from Kuala Lumpur. 97 lives are at stake. 4 government agencies have been deployed for search and rescue operations, including the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency.
Okay, kita sekarang nak pergi ke arah lokasi kejadian. Lokasi kejadian kapal garam.
Lieutenant Faisal is one of the maritime enforcement officers involved in search and rescue operations. He and his team have just received news of bodies being sighted in the waters. As their speedboat is too small to transport bodies, the officers radio the nearest patrol ship for assistance. The shifting currents have caused the bodies to drift far from the incident location, complicating recovery efforts. The authorities scour the seas from morning to night. At the end of the day, 20 victims are still missing. It is now 21 hours since the tragedy struck. The clock is ticking for those still lost at sea. Lieutenant Faisal leads his team out again, hoping to recover more survivors.
Papa 23 di sini naik kilo. Teruskan. Naik kilo di sini Papa 23. Ujian pendengaran.
His team heads once more to the incident area.
Tapi kita dah semakin menghampiri kawasan kejadian. So lagi pun kita nak alert kapal-kapal lain dengan kehadiran kita. Dan mungkin juga mangsa-mangsa yang mungkin terselamat, mungkin dia dengar kita, mungkin dia akan buat sebarang tindakan.
But when the team arrives, they have a problem.
Kapal karam berada dekat depan kita ni. Kita tak boleh nak dekat sangat sebab apa, air campur cetek, dia punya depth kat situ lebih kurang 2 meter.
The team circles around the shallow area, keeping a lookout for survivors. However, the pitch-dark conditions make search efforts difficult.
Kemudian anggota kat sini dia menggunakan segala deria, mata dan juga telinga untuk melihat dan mendengar mungkin ada bunyian-bunyian yang ganjil.
The elements are against them. Rough waters and darkness impede the search. Frustration starts to creep in. After 4 hours at sea, they find no survivors and are forced to return to base.
Malam kita tidak menyupai apa-apa sebabkan keadaan cuaca yang makin gelap dan laut pun yang tak apa elok. Kita akan menyambungkan operasi SAR kita pada esok hari.
The next morning, the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency calls for a press conference. The press are told of a shocking development.
Untuk maklumat tuan-tuan juga, kami baru dapat mengesan dan menerima panggilan berkaitan dengan satu lagi kes bot pancung telah terbalik di kawasan api gila.
This second tragedy adds more pressure on the rescuers.
Total semua sekali melibatkan 124 orang yang terlibat dalam kes. Yes, 2 kes bot karam.
The agency responds by deploying more assets. Lieutenant Faisal and his team rejoin rescue operations after the unsuccessful efforts of the previous day.
Okay, pada hari ini kita akan terus menyambung kita punya search and rescue kita ke arah lokasi yang lebih besar dengan aset yang lebih banyak.
In total, 6 speedboats, 3 patrol vessels, and a helicopter are deployed.
Okey, yang saya difahamkan kes yang terbaru yang berlaku adalah satu bot pancung. Satu pancung penumpang lebih kurang 25 orang. Dia telah karam kurang 8 batu nautika daripada Pantai Morit.
Just as Lieutenant Faisal's team is about to begin search efforts, they receive good news from their colleagues at sea.
Dua mangsa telah pun diselamatkan oleh Rescue 102. 5 mangsa berada di kapal.
Kita telah terima satu berita yang ada seorang cedera. Dia telah selamatkan oleh kapal dagang. Helikopter tu memberi bantuan awal dan segera kepada mangsa yang cedera tu dan mengambil anggota yang cedera tu ke helikopter dan bawa terus direct ke hospital.
More survivors have been rescued by the Maritime Enforcement Agency. Lieutenant Faisal's team is ordered to return to Port Klang to assist.
Kita sekarang masuk sekejap ke Kelang ni, JT Kelang ni. So sambil menunggu arahan selanjutnya daripada pihak atasan. So sekarang ni juga kita menunggu itu 14 survival daripada penghalang 1. Kita jumpa 14 orang tu di area kapal dagang. Mereka mengambil orang tu daripada kapal dagang. Pedagang telah selamatkan mereka dan just ambil lepas itu.
Cik Yusuf, berapa orang? 14. Dewasa? 13. Perempuan dewasa seorang?
14 orang.
The survivors have been floating at sea for over 12 hours. They recount their terrifying ordeal.
Okey, pelan-pelan. Lalu belah. Saya difahamkan mereka telah berpaut pada tong plastik dan mereka telah berada dalam air sangat lama jugalah. Dengan masa tu pula keadaan yang trauma dengan minyak petrol yang bertaburan di atas laut.
Berapa orang?
Semua 17. Yang ni semua 14. 13 lelaki, seorang perempuan. 3 orang lagi naik heli. Naik heli.
Tak apa lagi.
Ini daripada kes kapal karam yang kedua tu. Sebab ada anggota yang sakit dan ada anggota yang kurang sihat. So mungkin kami akan beri rawatan awal dulu kepada mereka. Lepas tu kami akan bawa mereka ke hospital. Seterusnya membuat siasatan selanjutnya.
Speaking to one of the survivors, Lieutenant Faisal learns of how the boat sank.
Saya tanya dia, macam mana kapal tu boleh karam? Tu dia beritahu saya, kapal tu karam disebabkan oleh lebihan muatan. Barang-barang yang dibawanya pun banyak dan masa tu cuaca pun teruk lah. So that's why kapal tu dah tumbang ambing dan menyebabkan ramai yang jatuh laut. Saya dipahamkan dengan beg-beg yang kita jumpa, mungkin mereka ingin balik ke kampung asal mereka tu, Indonesia.
The victims are believed to be illegal immigrants returning to their home country for the Muslim festival of Eid al-Fitr. This tragedy has dashed their hopes of seeing their families. Recovering these survivors has raised hopes. But there is still work to be done.
Walaupun penat, saya berasa sangat gembira kerana kita walaupun penat lelah, kita mempunyai hasil yang kita patut bangga kerana itu. So saya berharap search and rescue dapat diteruskan sehingga kesemua bangsa dijumpai.